Today's scripture, First John chapter 1, verse 3, 4 through 4, and Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 1. What we have seen and heard we proclaim to you also, so that you too may have fellowship with us. And indeed our fellowship is with the Father and with His Son, Jesus Christ. These things we write so that our joy may be made complete. Cast your bread on the surface of the waters, for you will find it after many days. John writes about the fellowship with God. Most of the cases, people used to think as far as the heaven departed from the earth, so is God departed from our living. Most of the people used to think. However, he is mentioning about the fellowship. Fellowship is used to mention the in between almost similar people. So even for the Christians as well, if they're gonna be asked for thinking about the fellowship with God, they think it's kind of prayer. When we're going to pray for something issue, then someday that will be answered. I think that is the fellowship with God. Or through the sermon or Bible study, reading books, we gotta have some more knowledge about who God is. What is the ability of God, creation, providence, or something like that. It's not wrong. However, fellowship with God has been mentioned in this scripture by John in a whole different approach. He mentioned Jesus Christ related to the concept of fellowship with God. When we're gonna put the medicine and swallow, then no choice but to we experience the effectiveness of that medicine. Without taking the medicine, we can expect some kind of placebo, the working on my mind. However, when we're gonna take the medicine, we cannot escape from the effectiveness of that medicine. It's getting chemical. In order to make the fellowship with us from side of God, God's side, He gonna do something before we had done. So that fellowship has been completed from God's side, sending Jesus Christ as like the medication. So whenever and wherever Jesus Christ as like the medicine has been put into, then no choice but to that kind of effectiveness will be appeared. That is the power we are expecting in the Christianity. Without that, it's just a kind of a simple knowledge only. So definitely, if the way of the Christianity is correct, then we deserve to expect the effectiveness or power of God, the Creator, in our dust-like living as well, in our personality, relationship, every circumstance. No choice but to experience the effectiveness of the medicine, Jesus Christ. So, as the being, Jesus Christ revealed the nature of God, we call divine nature, and our nature the kind of mother nature, dust-like. Most of the people, including the Greek philosophers as well, they used to try to separate this kind of or distinguish this divine nature and our mother nature is totally different characteristics. However, in the Christianity and in the gospel of Jesus Christ, he revealed the fact the divine nature of God is not different from our mother nature. In some way, that is the way, that is the Jesus say, I am the way. As a being, in Jesus Christ, there is no difference between the mother nature of his mankindship and the divine nature of God. Has been combined, has been unified as one being. He himself is the gospel. He himself is telling us there is no separation in between the divine nature and our mother nature. For that, he showed us two different kind of things in order to let us know what the gospel is. The first thing is love. Second one is death. The first thing, love. Every single religion are talking about is talking about the love in different way. Yeah. Even including the violation as well is to be mentioned as an expression of love, their own love. Then what is the meaning of the love Jesus Christ revealed to each one of us? We used to have the relationship, we used to have the meaning of the love to respond, in the responding for the reaction of other people. Even in the relationship between the parents and the children as well, there is an expectation, and there is expectation for the reward or the respect, kind of responding for the reaction. However, in the case at the time, no choice but to we can take advantage of other people in the relationship, even the children as well. But in the case of Jesus Christ, the cause or foundation of his love is based on the eternity. Even before we have existed in our world, he has the knowledge, he has the recognition for each one of us as the spirits. The life has been hidden behind in God, in the world of eternity. So he's not going to be changed in loving each one of us. So when we're going to listen to that fact, we don't have to think that kind of love must be involved in Jesus Christ only because he's special. We are not. We are just ordinary people. No, we don't have to think in that way. Because Jesus said, I am the way and the life, and I am the bread come from heaven. So just bring me and eat it and swallow it like a medication or bread. Then no choice but to experience that kind of medication effectiveness. So when we're gonna swallow Jesus, it's impossible. It sounds like weird. But when we're gonna understand and listen to what the base and the foundation of the love of Jesus Christ toward each one of us, that is based on the eternity, then we can take that idea and swallow as my own. That is the way to take the bread of life and eat it and swallow it. And we can experience the effectiveness of that kind of eternal love in our personality. So I'd like to try to experience that love in our relationship as well, in our church, in our brothers and sisters as well. I used to have the relationship that has the love just within the level of the mankind, kind of responding or taking advantage of other people, thinking them as my own possession or something like that, rule over. However, from now on, I would like to ask for a prayer for giving me the wisdom of understanding what is the meaning of the love of Jesus Christ based on the eternity. Second one is the Ecclesiastes, this chapter 11. Cast your bread on the surface water, you will find it after many days. This describes the concept of the crucifixion. We used to think the crucifixion is one of the historical events of Jesus Christ 2,000 years ago, or it's kind of a experience of myself to suffer from kind of difficulties, some blah blah blah. But on here, the writer, this scripture, tried to describe the principle or spiritual rule. Cast your bread, your possession, your something, your belonging, to the surface of the water, because this water means kind of whole providence of this world. I think it's not difficult to agree with that. The fact all the phenomena of this world is like the water flow, kind of internet or political situation or economy or philosophy or something like that. However, that is the facial surface movement, and there is another movement and beneath of the surface movement. That is the providence of God. All the power and the movement and the spiritual ability of Jesus Christ and the ability of the God, the Creator, has been based on this visual world. Just behind of this world, there is an invisible world. So when we're gonna recognize that fact, there is another flow of water just beneath of this facial movement, then we can cast away our bread to the flow of the water. Then will be returned to me. This must be possible only when we recognize that there is something behind this facial movement. Otherwise, it's not possible to cast away. Because if we're going to cast away my belongings, that is like the death. So most of the people scared to look at this kind of way. So they, as much as possible, they're going to grab something, gather more things, have more and more. The more is the better, their idea. It's impossible to cast away. But when we're going to have the faith for the beneath the movement of the providence of God, then you can do that and experience. That is the meaning and the issue. That is the meaning of the principle of the crucifixion. So Jesus showed these two kind of a factor. One is love, the other one is the death, the crucifixion. It's a kind of a principle of our living. So when we're going to try to experience this kind of idea in our practical living, then that kind of situation is called the fellowship with God, because our nature is not different from Jesus and not different from that of God. That is the only way to make the fellowship with God.